Hello everyone. Now we are talking about the addition modulo 5 activity. So the goals of this activity are to get more comfortable with modulo, and then also to investigate how arithmetic works in modulo. Right, so in the analogy, these aliens are using this modulo 5 system, but they should be able to do things like add, subtract, multiply, right? Things that arithmetic is useful for. So we want to make sure that all those sorts of things work out as we should expect them to, that their number system, makes sense. So the first step is we're going to get comfy with adding modulo 5. And I really recommend starting with this left-hand side with Team Earth, because it's a little more comfortable, and it'll help scaffold up the skills. So you would do 6 plus 12. Well, that gets us 18. And then 18 modulo 5. Don't forget to use the cup for this, or ask how many 5s can we take away, and then like what's left over, right? So I think we could take away 15, 3 5s. What's left over? I think that's 3. So 18 mod 5, that gets us 3. And then once you've done the left side, then I would say move to the right side. So in this side, we're adding things mod 5 now. So we're checking to make sure things work out as we would expect. So 6 mod 5, well, that I think is going to be 1. 12 mod 5, that should be 2. Add them together, what do we get? 3. And don't forget, when you do this, you need to take one more mod 5 at the end, just in case. In this instance, 3 mod 5 is still 3, but I mean, it could have been that you did something like 9 mod 5 plus 8 mod 5, right? What does that get you? That gets you, 9 is going to be 4 mod 5, plus 8 is 3. Well, that gets you 7, and you need to do it one more time. One more mod 5, and that gets you 2. So make sure you do this one last step, because you want to make sure your end answer is somewhere between 0 and 4. Now, once you've done all 4 of these boxes, you might notice a pattern, and your students will probably notice it, is that these two match up, and if you've done it right, these two should match up as well. And so you can ask yourselves, okay, does this always work? Does it always work that we can just add and then mod, versus mod, then add, then mod? Like, can we do it whatever way we want? And the answer is yes. And that's what this next sheet is focused on, right? It's like, can you do mod of the sum versus sum of the mods? Does it work out to be the same? The answer is yes. This sheet has some more technical notation on it. So I would, when your students get to it, just remind them, like, we're asking the question, like, does what we saw in the previous sheet always hold? Like this, that's what this is asking, right? And it's hard to explain why. It's hard to explain why this always works. And I really, for this, would recommend using the cup, because you can actually play with it and manipulate it. So modulo, at its core, is a viewpoint on these numbers. It's like a special lens you're putting on to look at these numbers. And you can kind of see it here. If we wanted to do, for example, 6 plus 9, that gets us 15, right? And we would see this on our number line along the side of the cup, right? So we'd start here, we go around, and we would get to 6, and then we would add 9, and what do we get? We get 15. Now, in modulo land, it's like we're taking this spiral that I made and we're squishing it all the way up to the top, and we're just looking at what happens when we go around the top. So if I do this around the top, right, I start at 0, I go around all the way to 6, that would put me here, and then I go around all the way 9 steps, and that gets me here. Now, it's the same spiral, just kind of looking down on it. And if we take 15 mod 5, we get 0. And you'll notice that the spiral also ends at 0. Right? So, doing this addition is like going around the spiral. It's going around the cup. Whether or not your answer is in mod 5 or not, the end is just whether your spiral is stretched out, like this one, or whether it's all squished together in a circle. So that's one way of looking at it. But think about some other ways that you could explain, why this works.